those that have walked by the hanging tree late at night and have seen the body of Dr. Macauliffe still strung up from the tree. It seems like every community out there has its legendary hanging tree, and I've heard my share of stories over the years, including houses that claim to have a hanging tree out in the front yard, which used to hang slaves. However, the house was built decades after slavery had been abolished, and you look at old photographs, and the tree isn't even a sapling, nowhere in the picture at all. So most of these tales are just legends because there happens to be a branch on the tree that looks great for a hanging, and the story is passed down over the years. However, there was a legitimate hanging tree in Greene County, Illinois that does have a true story associated with it. But even that story may have its own legends tied to it. Well, one night in the small town of Rice, there was a Dr. Charles Macauliffe that got into an argument with a James Heavener, who was actually his brother-in-law. Apparently, this brother-in-law was treating his sister, who was Dr. Macauliffe's wife, very rudely. Well, during this quarrel, the good doctor decided to pull out a double-barreled shotgun and blow his brother-in-law away. Well, the doctor fled the tavern and hid himself in a barn, but a local angry mob found him there and yanked him out. The idea was to take him to Carrollton, the county seat, so that justice could be done upon him. Well, they got down the dirt road in a wagon, and near Hickory Grove Cemetery, they saw a nice large oak tree. And the angry mob decided they were going to string him up, apparently with the full approval of the constable. They did hang him there on that oak tree and left him there overnight. Children walking to school the next day saw the gruesome face of Dr. Charles Macauliffe and ran and told their parents. Well, the doctor's body was taken down and buried in that nearby Hickory Grove Cemetery. In order to mark the grave, they took a sapling of a cedar tree and planted it there. Later, they marked his grave with a cement slab that had his nameplate from his office infused onto it. A marker was also placed on the hanging tree, but the hanging tree blew down just a few years ago in a storm and is no longer there. It's been said that as you pass by the site of the hanging tree at dusk, that you can hear the words, "Who are you? Who are you?" echoing from the nearby woods. There's also been reports of those that have walked by the hanging tree late at night and have seen the body of Dr. Macauliffe still strung up from the tree. So how much of the story is true? Well, most of it can be found in the 1879 history of Greene County. So the majority of it is actually true. There was a mob that strung up a Dr. Macauliffe from an oak tree near Hickory Grove Cemetery. However, a descendant of the constable defends his good name. She claims that the constable was on his way by himself to take Macauliffe to Carrollton when he was overtaken by the mob. He was restrained as the mob strung up Dr. Macauliffe from the tree. The constable, William Rhodes, later became a member of the Illinois State Legislature. Now, we'll never know all the details of what really happened that night, why Dr. Macauliffe decided to murder his own brother-in-law, even if it was a spat over his wife. Did it really warrant the murder? And we may never really know whether or not the constable was overtaken by the angry mob, or if they all just decided to string him up from the tree before getting to Carrollton. But recently, Shauna and I decided to take a look at the site, see if we could find where the hanging tree was, and if we could perhaps hear the voices of the past tell us their story. So, you want to point out where it was? Straight back here?
Here in the overgrown.
This is the old hanging tree. Okay.
Yeah, here's the
Well,
road.
yeah, let's see the one with the road.
So it's going to be like...
So it would have been back a little bit. So you have all this tall grass right there, which, if there was still like a stump there, or the nutrients from the stump, that would make sense. The hell?
What's going on?
My phone went off. I don't ever have like an alarm set off like that. For one, that's not my alarm. For two, I don't have any ringtones set up. I just have vibration set up.
Maybe you're in the right spot.
Maybe I'm in the right spot. Well, I was just stepping on something here that felt like harder. It elevated. I think I'm on top of the stump right here. That sound that came from my phone, I've never set as an alarm. I didn't even have an alarm set. I was holding the camera with one hand and I was pushing aside grass with the other. The phone was in my pocket. How that sound went off while I stood on that spot, I have no idea. But to me, it was almost like the sound of jackpot. Maybe somebody having a little fun with us. Of course, I can't definitively say it was paranormal, but it was certainly interesting and a little coincidental. And I don't usually believe in coincidences. Dr. Macauliffe's grave is actually there, and the cedar tree is still growing there near his grave, where it was once marked. It is in the lower southeast corner of the cemetery, and no other grave is near there. He is all alone by himself, completely ostracized from the community that murdered him after he murdered one of theirs. There it is. It's down there. Way off in the corner.
Well, he was bad, so he doesn't get to be with the rest of society.
Right. Way down here. We didn't notice this last time we were here.
There he is.
Yep, there's the cedar tree. Doctor Macauliffe. Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights. Please let us know what you think of our show in the comments below. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.